Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome back to Turner Mobile Detailing. Today we're continuing our search for a wash and wax auto shampoo that actually does what it claims to do. And today we're testing Griot's Garage Ceramic Wash and Coat. Let's do it. So to be honest, this is not my first time using this stuff. I've used it several times before, and I'm really glad I did because I can give you some insights into the product that will be really helpful. Spoiler alert, this stuff is really good. In fact, it's so good, you want to make sure you follow the directions to the T. A lot of times with shampoos and other detailing products, you can use them for off-label uses. You can fudge the directions one way or the other, dilution ratios, using in the sun, not using in the sun. But this product, you absolutely want to follow the directions. The directions are very simple, but they're to the point. They say shake well, so we're going to make sure we're shaking up well. Apply to a cool surface in the shade. Now, they're not kidding when they say apply in the shade. I'll explain more about that in a minute. Prior to washing, prepare wash tools for process. So you want to make sure you have everything ready to go. You don't want this stuff sitting on your car, on your vehicle any longer than it has to avoid any potential drying on the panels. High pressure rinse vehicle from the top down to rid surface of loose contaminants. So we've already done that. The black F-150 that you see behind me, we've already done a rinse down. I'll show you a before water behavior test in just a few minutes. Optional methods include foam cannon or foaming sprayer. Now in the last video we tested Turtle Wax's Hybrid Solutions Ceramic Wash and Wax, which says that it's not made for a foam gun or a foam cannon. But this stuff says right on the label, right there, can be used with a foam gun or a foam cannon. So that's pretty much it for the directions. We'll get to the dilution ratios in a few minutes. But before we get started, let me show you some before footage of what the panels look like with no protection whatsoever, just so you can see that there's absolutely nothing on this vehicle, no protection whatsoever. And then afterward, we can see just how much protection and how much water beading and the water behavior that we get. Notice how the water just clings to the panel, forming a solid sheet of water. This indicates that there's absolutely nothing on the surface of the paintwork to cause any kind of surface tension or water evacuation. And we can see this on vertical panels and horizontal panels alike. Okay, so as you can see, there is absolutely no water behavior on this vehicle. The panels are totally flat. The water just sits on the panel. Basically, gravity alone is the only thing causing water evacuation from the panels on this truck. So really quick, I want to explain to you how I learned the hard way that Griot's is not kidding when they say do not use this product in the sun. Normally, my order of process is I do the interior first and then the exterior second, but today I'm taking advantage of the shade. First thing in the morning, I'm getting the exterior done. I'm just doing a basic wash on this truck, nothing fancy, and then a full detail on the interior. So as I've explained before, I'm looking for a product, a shampoo, that I can use on a basic vehicle wash without having to wax it afterwards. That's still going to leave some kind of protection, some kind of wax or sealant, something on the surface that's going to protect my client's vehicle. So again, like I've said before, I've used this product a couple times before, and I feel it works really well, and I'm going to show you just how well it works today. The first time I used this stuff, I wanted to see the full limits of it, so I used it in the direct sun in about the middle of the afternoon, and boy did I regret it. I used it in my foam cannon, and you really can see water behavior almost immediately after you spray it on the panels, and as it starts to weep off, you can start to see water beading already. The problem is it dried super quick in the sun, and the water spotting that it left behind was a major pain to get off. In order to get off the water spots, I had to go around the entire vehicle again with a quick detailer, and not just with a light coating, but I had to put some real elbow grease into those panels to get the water spots out. So again, I want to reiterate, Do not use this stuff in the sun. You will regret it. So that being said, we've still got some shade to work with this morning. Let's see how this stuff performs in a foam cannon. So for a foam cannon, the directions say, precisely dilute 4 ounces of ceramic wash and coat into foam cannon reservoir and fill to top line with water. 8-to-1 dilution. Now I've got my 4-ounce measuring cup and I've got my 32-ounce foam cannon. Now I precisely measured this out. I've got 28 ounces exactly of water in my foam cannon reservoir, and I'm going to put 4 ounces precisely of product into my foam cannon. Now when they say 8-to-1 dilution, it confuses me a little bit. I'm not sure that's technically accurate. Technically 8-to-1 would be 4 ounces of product with 32 ounces of water. Now the foam cannon is only 32 ounces, so you can't fit a 32-ounce mixture within the foam cannon. So really, 28-ounce mixture of water with 4 ounces of product is really going to be a little over 6-to-1 ratio, between 6 and 6.5 to 1 ratio. If I'm misunderstanding the ratio for some reason, please don't hesitate to correct me in the comments below. So either or, we're going to mix 4 ounces of product into 28 ounces of water. I'm going to pour that right on in there. And there we have it. We have 32 ounces of water and Griot's Garage ceramic wash and coat. Again, 28 ounces of water with 4 ounces of product, precisely. For the sake of this video, when I wash quote-unquote one section at a time per the directions, one section of the vehicle is from the front fender all the way back to the rear door. I can get away with doing a section this large all at once because I'm working in the shade. Foam quality in the Griot ceramic wash and coat was decent. It's really on par for what we've come to expect from wash and wax or washing and coating shampoos. So I'm going to say the foam quality is good. It's not the best I've ever seen, but this is about on par with most wash and wax shampoo products. You're not going to get the best foam when they put the wax or the sealant or whatever's in there. But for what it is, I think it was pretty good. Now let's give it a hand wash and see just how slick this stuff is. So I wasn't super impressed with the slickness of Griot's Garage ceramic wash and coat. So if you're going to use a product like this, what I would do personally is wash your vehicle first with a really good foaming pH neutral or a higher alkaline soap to get the majority, if not all, the surface dirt and contaminants off your vehicle, and then go back and do a light washing with this stuff. That way you severely mitigate the risk of scratching your vehicle using a soap that doesn't provide really adequate slickness. So now let's give it a rinse down and see what kind of water behavior we get and how much protection, if any, is left behind by Griot's Garage ceramic wash and coat. see that this stuff is really good. You can see that water behavior. The water beading was nice and tight. Water evacuation was really quick and crisp. I'm personally really impressed with this stuff. Much more impressed than I was with the last coats, the last soap. Definitely more impressed than I was with Chemical Guy's Extreme Body Wash and Wax. That's for sure. And think about it, I didn't even really have to dry off the panels before getting any decent water behavior. Typically with this kind of soap, it performs better after you dry the panels because that's kind of like buffing off the wax after you apply a traditional coat of wax. So you're going to get better performance out of it after it's buffed off, and in this case after it's dried off. But with this stuff, we did not have to do that whatsoever. So again, I'm really impressed with this stuff so far. Let's go ahead and see how it performs in a traditional bucket wash. Okay, so we've got our 2-gallon bucket. Again, this is a 2-gallon bucket, it is not a 5-gallon bucket. And we've got it halfway full, as you can see. So that's 1 gallon of water. So the directions say for a bucket wash, dilute 2 ounces of ceramic wash and coat per gallon of water, 64:1 dilution. And then high pressure rinse vehicle to remove loose contaminants. Wash vehicle 1 panel at a time from the top down using a microfiber wash accessory. So we're going to use 2 ounces of product for 1 gallon of water. So again, we're going to fill this cup up, this time halfway. So we've got 2 ounces of product, and we're just going to dump it right on in there. Now we're going to froth it up a little bit. Not bad for sudsing. And then we're going to put my microfiber towel right on in there. Now let's get to washing. As you can see, the sudsing that we had in the bucket did not really translate outside the bucket. Really no suds to speak of during the hand wash. Okay, so we hand washed the passenger side of the vehicle. Again, I wasn't really impressed with the slickness of the product. I did take a chance though in washing the bed portion of the truck in the sun. So I'm going to get that rinsed down ASAP. Let's see the water behavior that we get after a hand wash. Again, very impressive. So it doesn't seem to matter how you apply the product, either a foam cannon, foam sprayer, or by hand. It delivers the same amount of protection and water behavior. Just be sure to follow the dilution ratio instructions precisely. Even the rear quarter panel that we washed in the sun doesn't seem to have left any water spotting behind. We're going to go ahead and dry that off right now to see for sure if it left any water spots. Originally, when I first used this product, like I told you before, I got severe water spotting. That happened, I think, because I was playing with the dilution ratios. I think I almost doubled the amount of product that it called for. So that's probably what contributed to it. So again, I say follow the dilution ratio instructions precisely. So let's go in and take a closer look at our rear quarter panel that was washed in the sun. I even let it sit for a few minutes while I spoke to the camera. And it looks like we're not having any issues with water spotting. Even after I let it sit for a few minutes in the sun, I thoroughly dried it off, and I'm not seeing any water spots. Again, very impressive. Okay, so now that we've got two sides of the vehicle washed, the driver's side was washed with a foam cannon method, and the passenger side was done with a traditional bucket and hand wash. So now off camera, I'm just going to go ahead and wash the whole rest of the vehicle, get it dried off, and then we'll come back in for one last water test after the vehicle has been thoroughly washed and dried. Okay, so we've got the whole vehicle totally washed down and rinsed for the final time. I went ahead and dried the whole vehicle off too. So now we're going to do one last water behavior test after the vehicle's been totally dry. We're going to test a couple vertical panels. We're going to test the horizontal panel, the hood, to see what kind of water beading, water sheeting we get, and that'll be a good indicator as to what kind of protection Griot's ceramic wash and coat leaves behind. So that'll about do it for our testing and review of Griot's Garage ceramic wash and coat. So to go through our areas of priority, first we tested the foaming ability, and they gave it a good, not a great, not a bad, but a good, right in the middle, which is about what we can expect from a wash and wax product. Again, the wax does reduce the amount of foaming that a soap will give you. Next, we took a look at the slickness. I really was not impressed by the slickness. As I said before, I would highly recommend washing with a regular car soap, a car soap that's going to give you higher foam and more lubricity first before you use this stuff. Next, I paid close attention to the cleaning ability. Being a black vehicle, you could really see the dirt and grime that was there before, and I could really tell what was left over, traffic film and other forms of dirt and grime that was left over after the wash, and I was not terribly impressed with its cleaning ability. Again, I would recommend washing with a regular car soap, one that's not only going to give you better slickness on the panel and better foaming ability, but also a better cleaning ability. For a basic wash, I would recommend Chemical Guys Citrus Wash and Gloss. wash it down thoroughly, rinse it, and then wash it again lightly with Griot's Garage Ceramic Wash and Coat. Now as for the SiO2, or the protection that this stuff leaves behind, now that I was very impressed with. This stuff, you can see the initial water test right after the initial rinse, or during the initial rinse. You can see a lot of water behavior. The water was beating and sheeting right off the panel very quickly. There was a stark contrast to the water behavior after this stuff and from before it. Also, in our second water test, after the vehicle was completely washed and dried, we did another water test, and I thought I saw a little bit better water behavior, so it improved a little bit after the coating or the SiO2 in this stuff was quote-unquote buffed off. But either way, I was very impressed with this stuff. I'm thoroughly convinced that this stuff leaves a nice layer of protection that should last at least a month or so. Something that like a quick detailer is going to give you without actually having to go around the whole vehicle and apply a quick detailer. It's right in here. Also, on a side note, I wasn't terribly impressed how long the foam lasted on this stuff with a foam cannon, and especially in the bucket. I really didn't get much suds. The little bit of sudsing I did get from the foam cannon dissipated fairly quickly, and as you can see from the footage, especially during the hand wash, there was really no sudsing action whatsoever. Again, that's going to speak more towards the lubricity of this product, and again, reinforce my advice to wash your vehicle first with a more washing shampoo rather than a coating shampoo first. Now, the biggest caution that I have to say about this stuff is, again, I would highly recommend not to use this stuff in the sun. You can use it in the sun. Make sure you have your dilution ratios properly measured out, either in the foam cannon or in your wash bucket. However, you really do want to avoid it. Use this stuff in the shade or indoors if at all possible. Now, if you're a mobile detailer, I can't really recommend this stuff to you with a good conscience. I would recommend something else, something that doesn't have quite as much SiO2 in it. Maybe something like the Last Coat's The Last Soap. That stuff has less SiO2 in it than this stuff, and it's much easier to use in direct sun. So I would advise, take the directions seriously. I would recommend using a hand and bucket wash method over the foam cannon method, because you can do one section at a time and not spray a bunch of material on an area that you just cleaned, rinsed, and dried as you would with a foam cannon. And don't worry, this stuff will give you the same amount of protection, the same amount of sealant left over on the panel, whether you use a foam cannon or a hand and wash bucket method. So that'll about do it for our review of Griot's Garage Ceramic Wash and Coat. I find it's a really good product. If you keep it within what it's able to do, again, it's not a great washing soap. It doesn't have a lot of lubricity, but it is really good for leaving a nice coating on your vehicle. So again, I would recommend it more as like a coating soap rather than a washing and cleaning soap. But it's more than worth the money. This is a 48-ounce bottle, and I believe I picked it up between $10 and $15 with a coupon from Advanced Auto Parts. Again, as I've mentioned before, if you go on their website, they always have 15 to 20% off coupons right on their website. If you buy it on their website and pick it up in store, you can get a great deal on a lot of stuff, including this stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this content, everyone. If you did, don't hesitate to hit that like button right down below. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel so you don't miss any future auto detailing content, product reviews, tips and tricks, demonstrations, just like this. If you have any questions on this product or any other products that I've reviewed or demonstrated, please don't hesitate to leave your question or comment in the comments section below, and I'll get back to it as soon as I possibly can. As always, I'm Seth with Turner Mobile Detailing, and we'll see you in the next video.